All right, Janie, one other question that I have, you being such a passionate writer and research, you've just I would love to research and write, and you just instill that passion. Well, here in Texas, where I am, we test writing skills because, it's very important to have writers. So at fourth grade is the first year our students are tested, and there's certain, types of writing that they could be called upon to write. And sometimes, and even as a teacher, if I would have to teach them a systematic approach, so one of my fears was that by just, having to prepare them so well for the test that I might kill their creativity or that inherent love or want to write. Have you encountered that sentiment?
Absolutely, I have. And I think one of the first remedies for a situation like that would be to address the teacher. Now, I know teachers. Oh my goodness, one more thing we have to learn. Oh my goodness, one more thing we have to deal with. You need to first, I believe, address the writer in you as a teacher and realize that some people are not all writers. And you need to maybe, as a teacher, if you're not a writer, struggle through that a little bit yourself, because then you can understand where your student is going to be coming from at that point. A lot of teachers, I was really surprised when I was doing the professional development program, when the teachers said, but sometimes isn't it just recording and putting down factual information and doing it chronologically? And in other words, it's recording information and putting it on paper where it can be read by somebody else, person that's thinking it or uttering it. And it surprised me that all of a sudden it was so stiff and formal and almost business writing. And it's like, that isn't writing. If that's what they think writing is, well, then anybody can put a sentence together and present that information. But a real writer thinks about that sentence. A real writer has to ask themselves, why is it important? What is necessary in that sentence? And so I urge teachers to not necessarily take a course in writing if they don't feel, but sit down and write. Take an hour a week and sit down and write and find out where you're struggling with it and what your feelings are. When you're teaching the formalized programs in the classroom, you all of a sudden might realize, well, I know this because this is how, but when you're having trouble with the application yourself, you might realize also what those youngsters are having problems with. Also, there's a few, I don't like to use the words tricks in writing, but there are a few triggers of writing, such as using the senses. When it comes into creating a story, give them a checklist and have them make sure that they use their senses in a sheet, a 250-word piece of writing that they're going to do. Make sure those senses are there. Do check with details. It's those details that will make that story, but it's not just concrete square details. It's also details of the heart that has an emotional connection, the feelings that go into that story. That will make a better writing. If you have writers that aren't connecting to the feel and to those senses, then you have writers that will be technical writers that will, and of course the world needs technical writers, of course I understand that, and there'll be business writers, but also that creative flow will be missing in that writing form. You need something where there's more of an emotional, personal connection. So there's just a few little triggers that can fine-tune that to help your students in the classroom become personal, emotional, connected writers.
And Janie, you did bring up that really is interesting. I think it might be interesting for the teachers to acknowledge different types of writers, because the ones that do connect with the heart, and as you said, it almost like reaches out to them with that connection. But then it is a completely different style if you are a business writer, if you're having to write, a business case, if you're having to write a technical paper, or what I've been working on this year is to learn copywriting. Mm-hmm. Very different styles. So I think that really is nice.
Absolutely.
I love your idea of having teachers write to figure out what it is that you struggle with. And for me personally as a teacher, I always did a better job teaching math because I had struggled in math and had to learn it. But as a reader, I was reading in kindergarten. And reading novels, by first grade. So I was like, I couldn't teach reading. I didn't remember ever having that struggle. And so I didn't have the empathy, I think, that I needed to teach. Well, Janie, I love it. Great ideas for those teachers that are struggling with writing. And it takes so much time to teach writing. So thank you so much. Anything else? Any last tips for them? Because I know that takes so long.
Basically, when it comes, I'm long-winded. I've done this for so long. It is who I am. And basically, if I can be of help to teachers, if they have questions, they can contact me. If they want to design a program, they can contact me. They don't even have to include me in the program. If they just have questions, how do we do this? Or what do you think about that? I'm available. Like I say, if I'm in my office and if I'm there and connected, I will get back with you and see what we can do to make our students better writers and our teachers better writers too. So,
well, thank you so much, Janie. It has come through. You are definitely a teacher resource. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.